am rebuilding from the ground up, from ground negative, from ground zero, below the pit, resurrecting. God would ever want to take care of somebody like me. We are going to be trying the viral Dubai chocolate. I went ahead and I purchased myself one from a local bakery that is here in New York City. This is the Dubai chocolate. So I've never had this before. I have no idea what to expect. I know that they say it has pistachio inside of it. I love pistachio, but let's just see what it tastes like, girl, while I go ahead and give you a brief synopsis as to who I am and how I've got to this stage. Let's go ahead and taste it. There is nothing special about this. For my $20. There's nothing special about this Dubai chocolate whatsoever. Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Octavia, and even though we tried that Dubai chocolate and it was not giving all that I was expecting, we still needed to check it off our list, so we went ahead and we did that, even though it was not worth my $20. However, let's go ahead and jump right into our mini life update video. You know that it's a sit down FaceTime call that you need with your bestie, just to let her know that things are going okay, you're working through it and you're progressing. These are the new things that have been going on, and so you're just filling in your bestie that you haven't really gotten that chance to speak to for a long time. That's what we're doing right now. So I have a little list here of questions that I figured you would be asking me if we were on a FaceTime call, and the first one would be, girl, how are you doing? How are you mentally? Are you really okay? Are you really okay? Like, you're doing life all by yourself. Are you sure you are okay mentally? I got divorced last year September, one day after my 31st birthday, and we're now in August, so it's less than a month before I reach my 1-year anniversary of being free and single, girly girl, completely single. But I also became a full-time stay-at-home mom at the same time. So in all of that, I must say that there have been major changes in my life, and just the things that I now have to prioritize in knowing that I now had to do life all by myself with my 2 children. There have been many days where I was not in a good headspace since my divorce, because I felt like God and life threw a lot at me all at once that I was not able to process, or I was not given time to process how I would want to process it. So there were days when I found myself, after my divorce was finalized, where I would go downhill mentally from having to deal with the fact that my children's father no longer wanted to support them financially because he no longer had his way with me. And the fact that he was willing to spite even his very children, not paying alimony, none of the above, girl. Knowing that that boundary that I set for myself and letting him understand that, look, we are officially divorced, so the only communication we have is with our children, created a whole different, I would say, persona. Really affected me mentally, and I struggled through this phase really badly because I could not find a solid reason as to why somebody would be so cruel in believing that they should spite even their very children. Forget about me, right? You don't have to pay me alimony, even though you're supposed to be doing it legally. Don't spite your children. You want to take it out on me? That's okay. Take it out on me, but don't spite your children in the process. And so I had a very hard time processing how to move forward from not having to be arguing every single day with this person in providing for his children and being back and forth in text messages. This was so mentally draining. It was such a hard time for me, having to control my emotions in not having to fight the way how you wanted me to fight, if that makes sense. So having those first few months, girl, where I felt like I was being punished for setting a very strict boundary that every woman should set after divorce, and that is to cut contact with your ex-husband after you have finalized your divorce and only make it solely about the children. I find that even though I knew I was doing the right thing and that's what I should have done, because God told me that I needed to cut all personal ties with this person, it still felt very, very uncomfortable. Those first few months after my divorce was finalized was really, really a test for me, because having to decide how I was going to do life by myself, then also having to take on the responsibility of financially providing for my children by myself also was a lot for one person to take on, because at that time I was still going through a very intense healing process. So girl, the mental health was not 100% in the first few months. I was drained. I was very angry. I was very upset with God. I felt very betrayed in many ways. I blamed myself for marrying such an evil and heartless person. I felt like I needed to punish myself for allowing my children to have a father of such demeanor, right? And so I had to go through that process where God healed my mental state from being so upset with myself, being so angry with myself, in feeling as though I should not have allowed my children to be in such a situation where their father doesn't even want to provide for them financially. I also want to get into how much family distance themselves from you when you go through a divorce, how much they try to not show you but they actually take sides in a divorce, how much they try to portray that you should have stayed even when things were going haywire. Everything can be fixed, everything can be corrected. They don't feel as though you as the woman should walk away because you're stealing your children's ability to be around their father. Want to know somebody who went through that? Me. Even though they may have not said it directly, the very way how they treated me up to this day, in the situation of not rendering any form of emotional support, and always asking about this person too, like, how the hell am I supposed to know how this person is doing? How about you ask me how I'm doing? Still concerned over somebody that I got divorced? Like, no. So even that also was very strenuous for me to process. I have gotten over a lot of that, girly girl. I am now in a mental state of ease, mental state of contentment, a mental state of happiness, a mental state of clarity, and I just see so many tulips. I should describe what my mental state looks like right now. I would say that my mental state right now looks like blooming tulips. It's so funny that God put that in my mind right now. Tulips all over, just blooming in their most beautiful and sincere and authentic self from the ground up. That is me right now, and that's my mindset that I have right now. I am blooming so much mentally because a lot of the things that I allowed to tarnish my reputation as a woman, as a human being, I have handed those things over to God and I have let them go. I place them at His altar, and I'm now at a place where I'm allowing Him to show me the version of myself that I was not allowed to be when I was in this very toxic marriage that was draining the very life out of me. So I must say that even though in the beginning, as we often find ourselves in, that the situation is very hard, it is very challenging, you're asking yourself if you made the right decision, you're blaming yourself a lot for the decisions, not for the decision that you made, but for not planning better. Yeah, we do blame ourselves for that also when you find that the divorce is finalized and it looks like the other person is winning and you're not, even if it's not a financial win, but like you're the one that is trapped with the kids, you're the one that has to continue life as if you're still married, while the next person just get up and start over fresh. No kids, no nothing to do with you, they just get a fresh start. So you also find that you blame yourself a lot in that period. But girl, when you find your groove back, once you have allowed yourself to go through that process of figuring things out and you have handed over a lot of those challenges to God, you find that day by day, second by second, hour by hour, month by month, however long you want to take to go through this process, you slowly start to shed all those things that felt like a heavy burden mentally, physically, emotionally, and you suddenly start to find that your mental state slowly comes back to a place where, or evolve into a place where you are happier, you're more at peace. You're not finding that you're staying up in the night crying anymore. You're finding that you're allowing yourself to be soft and tender and safe around your children, because your home is now pure, especially if you have to stay in the same home that you shared with this person. Like, I think I have spoken about this 1 or 2 times on my channel, but girl, I must say, up to this day, and this is something that I will be doing in one of my upcoming videos, and that is to do an entire apartment reset and refresh and revamp to portray me and my 2 children. I have done it already to an extent, but I still want to do more. I want to paint over my walls. I want to add new accessories to my apartment. I have changed out my bed. I have redesigned in a lot of ways that my ex-partner did not see while he was here, but at the same time there is so much more that I feel like I want to do that I was afraid to do, or I could not do in the last few months because my mindset was not there. So girl, that is also something that really affected my mindset also, and it's the fact that I did not get that opportunity to just pack up and go somewhere else that would have given me that fresh start that I needed, away from the place that I spent with this person that created so much trauma in my life. So girl, if you have to be that one who is still in your same home that you shared with your ex-husband, and you find that you are struggling to move on or evolve in that space, that's also me. But at the same time, God has us in this place for a reason, and it's so that we can show that no matter what situation you are in, you can always turn it around for your good, for the way that makes you comfortable, you happy. And that's exactly what I'll be doing with my apartment, and I most definitely will be sharing the process with you, girly girl. So as I said, mental state is now like blooming tulips. I am so happy, you guys. Best decision I have ever made for my life and my children's life. I would never ever retract my decision in getting a divorce, because I have found one of the greatest side of me that was missing, and that is my relationship with God. The side of me that was missing when I was married was my relationship with God, and out of anything else that I would say bloomed in my life after my divorce, I must say it's my relationship with God. And I would exchange that for nothing in this world, because the perception, as I've said to you guys in many videos, of how much my parents made me hate God, my ex-husband made me hate God, you would find that most of the time persons like me who encounter such Christian people would want to walk away from God. And yes, I did. So going through that divorce and just being in such a dark place, this was a season of my life where I felt the most love, the most tender, the most sincere, the most authentic, the most genuine, the most peaceful. Every word that people have not been able to associate with God, because they have not experienced that soft, tender, caring and loving side that He has, I got that chance to experience that. And I must say that it is the most beautiful thing I could ever experience in my life, girl. So enough on that part. Let's move on to the next question that I feel like you would ask me, because you're inquisitive and you want to be all up in my business. Am I open to dating now that I'm 1 year post divorce? I am not open to dating in the sense where I am going to accept anybody in my life at this specific point, and I will tell you why. It is not because I am against dating. I have been very strict in my mindset of lately that I would never remarry, and I would never put myself or my children in a compromising position where a man was able to walk into our lives and to somehow control how it is that we live, how it is that we move about, how it is that we live our lives now that we are just getting used to a whole new routine. God, of course, always has this sense of humor where He has proved me wrong. Every time I do say that I'm not doing something or I would never do something, God has a way of proving me wrong. So He has been telling me, girl, shut up. You are not in charge of your life. I am in charge of your life. I decide if you remarry or not you. So I would advise you to stop saying it. And so I have learned over the last few months to stop saying it out loud, because every time I do say it, I literally can feel the eyes of God looking down on me like, who are you to feel as though you should make somebody in the past who did you wrong control the rest of your life and rob you of happiness, in making you feel as though you are not ever going to remarry because of the mistakes that they made. No, girl, it doesn't work like that. So stop saying it. You don't know what I have in store for you. And so on that aspect, I would say I am not at this very second dating or 100% open to dating, because I'm still not 100% in a routine where I can say that my children and I are settled in a way where I can now give my attention to somebody else. And that's the only reason why. We are still getting used to a routine with just the three of us, and inviting a partner into my life will also take work, in the sense where I will also have to give this person a lot of my attention, getting to know this person and all of the above, or whatever it may be. And so for that reason, I would say that I am not right at this very second putting myself in the limelight to say, oh yeah, I'm ready for dating. No. If it comes along, girl, as I said, God says I'm not the one in control, He is. But for me to say that I am so open and so ready and I'm looking, no, I'm not, because I'm still getting used to our whole new routine where it's just me and my children, and us being very much intentional in how it is that we go about our day-to-day lives. So dating wise, that's it for me. Will I ever get remarried? That's up to God, not up to me. But if it was up to me, girl, it would definitely be a no, because as I have been saying to persons of lately, that I have so many fantasies in my head about myself that I want to fulfill. I have never gotten that chance to live by myself as an adult. I have never gotten that chance to do a lot of outings by myself. There's so many things that I would love to do by myself, and I don't want a partner to come into my life and rob me of those experiences that I so want to fulfill solo. And I believe that this is something that a lot of women are afraid of doing, and that is to experience the beauty of life solo. And I want to do that. I am going to do that. And that's also the second reason why I would say that I'm not 100% open to dating, and that is because I have a lot of solo fantasies that I want to do, and I don't want a partner to come and interfere with these things that I want to do for myself. So on that basis, I would say even if I do talk to somebody, it won't be so serious to the point where I would put off my personal life or my personal goals, my personal dreams, my personal solo fantasies to accommodate this person. Like, no, girl, we ain't doing that. Not in the season of our lives. Right? So as you guys would be very much aware also, if you have watched any of my latest videos, and that is after my divorce, I went ahead and I started my small business. Oh my God, this part has been my utter dream. Like, if you guys have watched any of my videos, you have heard me talk about this numerous times, where I said to you guys that the only thing that I dreamt about in my 20s was owning my own cafe in my 30s. And yes, I went ahead in my late 20s and I opened my cafe in Jamaica, brick and mortar, big one. Spent millions of dollars in building it from the ground up, and I lost everything in that cafe. But sometimes when you do things a little bit too quick, yeah, things like those happen. And I have forgiven myself for the mistakes that I made as an accountant. A lot of you may not know that if you're new to my channel also, but I am a certified accountant. I used to work back home in Jamaica for the government, and so having that experience where I financially lost every single thing in my brick and mortar, I blamed myself really badly for years for that mistake, or for the mistakes that I made financially, because my job back in Jamaica was that I was an auditor. And being an auditor, you're there to correct financial mistakes, right? You are there to ensure that you uphold the financial laws and not break them yourself or have other people break them. So in circumstances where I found myself losing everything in my business because of financial mistakes that I made, I blamed myself brutally for it, to the point where on many occasions I wanted to myself, because it was so hard for me to process that I helped so many people back home for the government, and I could not help myself to go through the process. So girl, I went ahead and I started, based on God's direction, I started my little matcha business. You guys know that matcha is my heart. I love matcha so much. So I started a matcha cafe and candle studio. It's called Simmer and Oak. Simmer is for the matcha and the oak is for the candles, and it has been going so well, you guys. I do street fairs, so I don't have a brick and mortar at the moment. I do street fairs in NYC where we go all over the city. Every single weekend we are all over the city doing 10 blocks long festivals. It is so amazing, you guys. It is so beautiful. It is so vibrant. Hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people walking the streets for the 8 hours that we are open on the street for. And when I say it is so organized, I can't believe that I have been here for 4 years and I never really took that time to walk these festivals as somebody who has always been in love with the cafe world, to see that that could have been an option for me. But as I would say, you guys, when you're going through a process where you find yourself all entangled with the wrong persons, God will block things from you, especially if it's a way that He wants to use it to bless you. He will block those things from you. He will block your eyes from seeing it. He will block you from entering into that phase, because He knows that if it is that He had given me that opportunity to start my business and to do my street fairs while I was still married, I would have lost everything again in my divorce. And God was like, no girl, I'll wait until you're divorced and then I will go ahead and tell you to do your business, and this is the avenue that you will do your business in, because God revealed it to me in December. So it's 3 months. Imagine 3 months after my divorce, God revealed to me that this is how you're going to do your matcha cafe. And yet I was married for 5 years and been with the person for 10. So just knowing that I made that right decision in getting a divorce, because God waited until after my divorce to prove to me, to show me how is it that I was able to achieve my dreams. So Matcha Cafe is going wonderful. It is going beautiful. Most days in the week I am burnt out, tired, have no use for myself, because I do every single thing all by myself. The setup and the breakdown is tremendously hard, but I realize week after week I'm getting very much used to it. We're moving way faster. My son and I, we move way faster because we now know where everything is supposed to go. We're getting a hang of all the festivals, because we keep repeating festivals at this point, and persons are knowing us, vendors are knowing us. So we're on point now. We're in a groove right now. So we're moving and we're bouncing. So we take, like, when we just started, it would take like an hour to set up. Now we're setting up in 20 minutes, girl. 20 minutes we're setting up. So love it. It is amazing. And I find that persons really do appreciate the intentionality that I place behind my brand, not knowing also that it was me being very obedient to a lot of the things that God told me to be very precise about when going forth and starting this matcha cafe. And that being very, very specific also, it had to be a matcha cafe. I am rebuilding from the ground up, from ground negative, from ground zero, below the pit, resurrecting is where I am building from financially. And it is a process, and I'm learning through God every single day to take it very slowly with myself, to enjoy the journey, enjoy the process. And I have seen where by me just following this method, how much financial blessing have been poured into my life, and I'm very grateful for this. When God says that He's going to take care of you, He is now proving that to me physically, because that is something that I struggled with for years, and that is believing that God would ever want to take care of somebody like me. So girl, if you're ever going through a phase where you're questioning God's ability to show up for you or take care of you, especially if you felt as though you have disappointed Him in so many ways, or you have been distant from Him in many ways, just use my life for an example. And if you want to know more, girl, just put it down in the comments, and I'm willing to talk your head off and give you some more info, okay, as to how I have gotten to this place of really becoming closer with God after going through a very intense season of my life. But that's up for my small business. I do this every single Saturday and most Sundays here in NYC with my 2 children. They come to every single market with me because I have no help, no support system, no nothing at all. But as I said, girl, we're getting in a groove, we're getting things going, and we're doing the do, and the do is showing, because even though it is hard, God is repaying me by ensuring that people show up at my matcha booth every single time. And even if I go through what I would consider a not so successful market, the amount of encouragement that God would allow people to stop by and give to me, and just the encouragement to continue going. Yeah, girl, we're on point. We're clocking. So that's it. Next question I feel like you'd ask me is, how are my kids doing? My kids are fabulous. They are a lot calmer, they're a lot happier, and as most siblings do, boy and girl, they fight a lot. I spend a lot of my days trying to teach them how to be kind to each other. I teach the big one that yes, even though he's bigger, you still have to be kind to your little sister. And the little sister is most of the time bullying the bigger brother, as we always do. But Tyler, who is 10, and Zenaya, who is 3, they are fabulous, you guys. They are also learning to adapt to the season of our lives where it's just the 3 of us. They are working through their emotions in knowing that their father is not a part of their lives, in a way where they see a lot of other children's father a part of their lives. And even though my son, who is older, would not show necessarily an emotion of missing his father, I try to talk to him a lot about the fact that it's okay if somebody does not want to be around you, even if it's their father. All they need to know is that I am there, and they should always love themselves. And something that I have picked up onto is that because they see me so much and they're always around me, and I'm the one who is always caring for them and taking care of them, even when they do go to see their fathers on Sundays, they still end up coming right back to me to sit down beside me after about 10 minutes of being around him, because they have built such a bond with me. They have built such a connection with me where it's like he's a complete stranger to them. So yes, they are happy to see him for the first 10 minutes, but the next hour that he's supposed to be there with them, in realizing that, you know what, life is with mommy, we're always with mommy. And so that's just what they're used to, in always being around me. And yeah, I would say it's because he does not necessarily take that time to play with the children. He does not take that time to make sure that they feel comfortable around him when he does see them. He does not come dressed in a way where it demonstrates to them that he's willing to play or he's ready to play. So when they do find that he is not coming down to their level as children, they come right back to me. And that's why most of the Sundays, girl, instead of me wasting my day to go spend 10 minutes for my children to see their father, I go use that time to go make some money to feed them for the entire week. Because remember, as I said to you, girl, I'm also the one providing for them financially 100%. And so I'm down to my last question. What is my next move? What is up for Octavia now that Octavia is divorced, is approaching 1 year? Then what next? What am I looking to do next with my life? I want to dive so deep into self-care, you guys. I think my ears are tired from hearing God talk about self-care to me anymore. And day by day, I am learning to see his view as to why he tells me so much about self-care. Coming from a country and a culture where self-care is like next never, to a whole new lifestyle where you see people prioritizing rest and they're prioritizing solo dating. I must say that this was a wake-up call to me in realizing just how much of my life I have wasted away trying to prove my worth to other people while chasing money. So now that I'm in this season where God has calmed my mind down so much, I am now at a place where I feel very present and relaxed. I want to practice physical self-care. By physical self-care, I mean learning how to get out of my apartment and get things done that pleases me, that makes me feel fulfilled. I want to dive so deeply into skincare. I am so much in love with skincare. You know, there are a lot of people who are in love with doing their hair, or you have some people who are in love with doing their nails. You have other people who are in love with just so many other things that has to do with self-care. I am in love with this skincare side of self-care. I love when the girl's skin is glowing. I love when your skin looks so even and nice, and this is a compliment I have always received my entire life. I was never that type of girl who had like acne issues or any type of issues like that. And people, even when I do go to my street fairs now, one of the number one compliments that I get at every single market is people commenting on my skin. And right now I don't have no skincare routine whatsoever, and I feel like my skin could look so much more beautiful. I want to become that skincare focused mama type of content creator where I teach women how to take care of yourself physically. I want you to be very much present in ensuring that you don't age before your time using the right products, always ensuring that you're staying on top of not getting any form of wrinkles too early. Girl, I love skincare. Bottom line, love skincare, and so I want to dive so deeply into skincare with you guys as my personal preference, right? As my personal preference, I want to jump into skincare real deeply with you guys. I want to showcase just how much I can look a lot younger. Even though I'm in my 30s, I want to look like I'm in my teens, girl. When I'm finished with the skincare, I want to look glowing even when I don't have an inch of lotion on. I just want my skin to shine. And I know this also is not just about the physical skincare outside by using the products. It will also have a lot to do with the food that I eat. Prioritizing my greens, getting into my green juice, getting into my fruits of all different colors. I have to do my rainbow of fruits. I want to ensure that I'm doing like my ginger shots, I'm doing my detoxing. This is what I want to get into. My matcha cafe, yes, I'm doing that, loving that. But what I can say I really birthed as a new passion project outside of motherhood and my small business is to dive into skincare and home decor. Love skincare, love home decor, girl. I fell so much in love with these two things over the last few months, and I want to take you guys along on this journey with me where I share with you how is it that I want to use natural products to allow our bodies, especially as a single mom. We want to use natural fruits and foods and vegetables and all these things to release our bodies from the toxins, while we go ahead and also use the different products to enhance our skincare routine in ensuring that we have very beautiful, glowing and tight skin, even as moms who have been through hell, girl. So if it is that you're interested in that type of content also, you will see a lot of that coming out in my future videos, where I'm definitely going to be prioritizing a lot of meal prepping, as I said, but not just meal prep because I'm trying to save on time, but meal prepping because I want to perfect my skin. Like, I know that I'm doing the work on the inside spiritually, but I also feel very much called in ensuring that I'm a good steward over this temple that God has given me. And I feel like one of the best way to portray that, girl, is to ensure that you maintain a very glowing, beautiful and seamless skincare routine that allows you to maintain a very youthful look, which is something that is also very biblical. God just dropped that in my spirit. There were persons in the Bible that were 100 years old that looked like they were 50 years old, girl, and that is because they prioritized eating foods that made their skin very beautiful and also looking a lot more youthful than the age that they actually were. So that's what I want to dive into. That's what's next for me. Still continuing with my small business, prioritizing motherhood 100%, but also diving very deeply into self-care, because that's what God said to me. Without self-care, you cannot be an effective mother. You're always going to be drained. You're always going to be missing out on what it feels like to have a life of your own. So that's what we're going to be doing. All right, girly girl. So that's my little life update. I was so happy to share this with you guys. I do hope you enjoyed this. It's a FaceTime chatty chat, girl, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye now.
The girl that I was began to fade, and in her place a new self was made.